Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of NAWA Championship Wrestling. I'm your host, Michael Elliott, and as you can see, Golden Gladiator number 2, he's got a huge announcement coming up on the program right here this week. There's no telling what he's got in store or what kind of an announcement he has, but that's going to be coming up here in the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to toss it to the back right now as GT standing by with AJ Frost.
Hey wrestling fans, GT here. I'm with, once again, AJ Frost, the tenacious one. AJ, you face Mr. Number 1 for the first time ever, George South. Talk to me.
George South, all the way back to Inman, South Carolina, when I was just a little bitty boy, watching you in that National Guard Armory. When the PWF would roll into town, I'd get so excited, guy. You have no idea. I've loved wrestling my whole life. George, I would pay my money, I'd sit there and be in amazement, looking at you up in there doing your work. And all these years later, it finally comes full circle. I've worked my way up, I've climbed my way up to the top of NAWA. And this is where AJ Frost becomes serious. This is where I prove myself, and this is where I make my mark in the NAWA. Guy, I'm bringing everything I got. I got nothing but respect for George, but when we step in those ropes, it's me against him, and it's out with the old, and it's in with the new.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from AJ Frost, the Freak Daddy. He's got a huge matchup. He's going to be taking on Mr. Number 1, George South, the legend. George South here on the program this week. He's looked up to him since he was a little boy in those National Guard armies in Inman, South Carolina. He's going to get his chance here this week against George South. Plus, the Rock and Roll Express, the WWE Hall of Famers, are going to be in tag team action in your main event. We're going to hear now from one of their opponents.
Hey wrestling fans, GT here. At this time, I'm bringing in my next guest. He's wrestling the Rock and Roll Express in the main event. I bring you Mike Maughan. Is that the way you say your name? Mike Maughan? Or is it Maughan?
There's only one way to say my name, and it definitely ain't Maughan. It's Maughan. We've been dealing with each other for over a year now, so I'm kind of perplexed as to why you don't know what my name is. Are you even qualified to hold it? Give me this. Get out of my shot. Rock and Roll Express, you were wrestling royalty. But like all good kings must, you will fall. See, Myric Moore gave me a call the other week, and he said, Mike, there's nobody in all of North Carolina that I would trust more than you to take on the Rock and Roll Express. Nobody with the charisma, the talent in the wrestling ring, and just honestly, being the best person in North Carolina for any job. So, Ricky and Robert, I do respect you. You are great legends in our business. But tonight, you're in my house, the NAWA, and I don't like visitors.
Well, we just heard from Mike Maughan, one half of the Palace of Pain. Him and Mike Maughan will be taking on the Rock and Roll Express later on in your main event, but coming up right after this very quick commercial break, we're going to have AJ Frost taking on Mr. Number 1, George South. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
The Carolinas have long been heralded as the origin of greatness in the realm of professional wrestling. Men, women, and promotions now considered to be legendary in their scope of influence on the future of professional wrestling began here in this, the region we call home. It is in this tradition of greatness that the Carolinas Professional Wrestling Awards will carry on in celebrating the achievements of talent working in the region. Join us at the official Facebook group page of the CPWAs as we continue to celebrate pro wrestling in the Carolinas.
B5O
Come on, you guys, it's only a little.
A hungry giant!
Hungry for a big honey taste.
Big taste, honeycomb, big taste.
Honeycomb big, yeah!
It's not small.
No! Honeycomb's got a big honey taste. Big crunch for a big bite.
Honeycomb cereal, part of this big, complete breakfast.
Honeycomb's a big bite, yeah!
thank you for sticking with us through that very, very quick commercial break. As you can see, we are down in the ring now for your opening contest this week as we've got the legendary Mr. Number 1, George South. And he's taking on the Freak Daddy, the man that is too cold to hold, AJ Frost. And this is, AJ Frost said this is a bucket list item for him, a bucket list match, a dream opponent for him to be taking on that man right there, George South, here on NAWA Championship Wrestling. Well, dreams come true. Bucket list matches are checked off here tonight. And I don't think George South is just going to lay down and let AJ Frost walk all over him here in front of this sold-out crowd here in Lenoir, North Carolina. And you see AJ Frost, maybe the nerves is getting the best of him as he's out on the floor. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's mind games, I don't know. Hey, George still hadn't even taken his ring coat off yet. So we know this match is nowhere ready to be getting started, but you got to think AJ Frost, a veteran of 20 plus years here in the Mid-Atlantic area. George South going on 4 decades plus of experience here in the Mid-Atlantic area and all over the world. As you can hear, the fans are clearly behind Mr. Number 1. Huge favorite here is AJ Frost is one of the most hated villains here in all of NAWA. And you can tell the people, he don't want the people cheering for George. He's telling them they got to shut up, and George is trying to just get in his brain. The nerves may have gotten to AJ Frost before the bell has even rung. And this is maybe the biggest match of his career. It's like he said in that interview, he's been looking up to George South and Italian and Gary Sabal in PWF back in those days, back in the Inman National Guard Army, the Italian Stallion. And you can check out that PWF documentary. You can find the DVD online somewhere. Documentary not streaming just yet, but AJ Frost about to climb back into the ring. He is too worried and too concerned with these fans here. This is the biggest match of your career, and all you can think about is these screaming fans. You got to have laser focus. You got to be on point here. And this, if AJ Frost can claim a victory here, this is going to be a huge, huge feather in his cap. And if George South, this will just be another win under his belt. He's expecting to walk out of here the victor here tonight. A lot of people look past AJ Frost. They don't see the experience and as a veteran of this area and all the talent that he has. A lot of people are going to write him off. Maybe it's because he spends too much time down in that nest or whatever they want to call it down there. But AJ Frost has really put some value to his name since coming here to NAWA Championship Wrestling. He's made his mark here in the company, and now he's getting a dream matchup here against George South. And right off the bat, George South taking that side headlock, and he's just squeezing down on AJ Frost. Big shoulder tackle takes him off his feet. And you got to think, look, AJ Frost already running to the corner, trying to back to the floor. You got to know AJ Frost he's got to know what to expect out of George South. He's been watching him for years and years and years. But there's a different thing. It's a whole different story when you're watching a man on videotape or live in person. It's a whole different thing when you crawl through those ropes into that squared circle with him. It's a whole different ball game, and I think AJ Frost just found that out here. Hey, Redbeard, where the hell are you? Exactly. GT, he's still up in Cooperstown. I don't know where Golden Gladiator 2. He's got a huge announcement, ladies and gentlemen, coming up later on in the show. Make sure you stay tuned to hear what he's got to say, as well as the Rock and Roll Express and Baby Doll in your main event, as George South has got that side headlock cinched in real tight. Here we go. He's going to try to shoot him off. Leapfrog. AJ didn't get all the way up over, but George South takes him right down with a shoulder tackle and back to the floor. AJ Frost says he's done. He's walking away. Where's he going? He's taking a timeout. AJ Frost has walked away. The referee official here, Chris Pope, is counting him out. AJ has until the count of 10 to re-enter the squared circle, and he's taking his time. He knows the magnitude of this matchup. He understands that if he can get the win here, it's going to be a big, big thing for him. It will propel him right up the rankings, maybe in line for a shot at that TV title or that heavyweight championship. But George South, no pushover. He's getting warmed up here. He's getting the crowd. He's telling the crowd he's going to punch this kid right in the face. I don't know if maybe AJ Frost has bit off more than he can chew. Look at him. He's more concerned with this lady in the front row than he is with the man inside the ring with him. And here we go. We're going to get to some action here as George South and AJ Frost about to lock it up one more time. Here in Lenore, North Carolina. Here we go. Big lock up here. Collar and elbow tie and right to that side headlock goes George South once again. And he's got him. He's squeezing real tight as AJ Frost has not been able to mount any type of offense here against the veteran. Shoots him off, another big shoulder tackle. Takes him right off his feet. George goes off the ropes, up and over, trying to get a hip toss. He blocks it. George South reverses and takes AJ Frost over with that hip toss. And a big scoop slam. Drops him right on his back, onto the canvas. And George South's just getting warmed up, folks. He's just getting going here as AJ Frost is flat on his back. George should go for the cover. And he's working his way up. And you see that black glove on the right hand of George South there, known for that claw, in tribute to one of his good friends, Blackjack Mulligan. AJ Frost, I don't know if he's embarrassed, he's overwhelmed, the nerves are getting to him, what is going on here, but he is definitely letting George South get the better of him. He needs to take a deep breath and calm down and do what he normally does in the ring if he wants to stand a chance here against Mr. Number 1, George South. Well, here we go. We're going to see if AJ Frost can get any type of momentum going here for him. Collar and elbow tie up once again. George right back to the side headlock again. Going right back to it. AJ getting a handful of that hair. Our official right on top of the action here, making sure everything is going by the rule book. And George South has got him locked in just tightly here. And that's set side headlock, and he's just squeezing AJ Frost. And here we go, shoots him back off again. Leapfrog. Back elbow from AJ Frost, finally taking George South down, but misses that elbow. South out of the way. He saw that coming from a mile away, and now a big headlock takeover now. And now George South just working him over on the mat. And he's trying to wear AJ Frost out and take home the victory here tonight. Look at this. Our official making sure the shoulders of AJ Frost are off the canvas here. He's right there in the middle of the game. Right here in the middle of this action. George South is just wrenching and squeezing and working that head. With that headlock takeover, now he just got him flat on the mat. AJ's going to do everything he can here to get back up. Both men back to their feet at a vertical base. And AJ still he's just got that headlock clamped on to George South. And he's not letting go. He's holding on for dear life here. And ladies and gentlemen, that headlock, that'll wear you out faster than you realize. Oh, AJ Frost with a rake to the eyes. Getting out of it the only way he can. Up and over goes George South. Big tackle there. And South takes him right down, goes for the cover. And only gets a 2 count. Right back to that headlock takeover goes George South. And AJ Frost got himself out of that situation. Thought he was out of it, but he's right back in the same predicament that he was, thanks to George South here. And he's clamped that side headlock on. Once again, he's just wrenching on it, squeezing as tight as he can. And official once again making sure the shoulders of AJ Frost are off the canvas at all times, making sure he's not ready to quit. He's doing everything he can to fight his way back up against George South here. We've seen George on the program several times over the last 4 or 5 years. He's had many memorable moments here on the program, but this is one of the biggest moments on the show for the man that's too cold to hold here. A.J. Frost, this is the biggest moment of his career, as he said in that interview, as George South is just continually just to smother Frost with this headlock. He's just got him down, and he's holding him tight. He's got it gripped on like a vice. I don't think he's planning on letting go. Oh, A.J. Frost with a big shot right to the rib cage. That'll make any man let go of a headlock. Up and over goes Frost. Big tackle from George South. Right back down to the mat. Goes over top. Catches him in midair. Does George South, he caught him right in midair. And A.J. Frost, look at the look on his face. He's about to get slammed as he does right down to that canvas. And here we go. Still only good enough for a 2 count. Right back, headlock takeover. And A.J. Frost must think he's reliving Groundhog Day, just like Bill Murray, over and over and over again, because he keeps winding back up in the same position, the same predicament that he's in once again for a 3rd or 4th time. And again, our official Chris Pope right there on top of the action, making sure that things go the way they're supposed to. A.J. finally works his way back up. That's the quickest he's gotten back up here. And here we go. What's he going to do? He's got to get that headlock off from George South, who's got that vice-like grip on top of it. Our official checking to make sure A.J. Frost is in the ball game. And again, another rake to the eyes. That's one of A.J. Frost's signature moves, I'd start to think. Reverses him into the corner, back up and over he goes. Takes the shoulder tackle once again. George goes off the ropes. Big leapfrog, a huge leapfrog, and a hip toss from A.J. Frost. Now he's going, he's just choking him. He didn't even go for the cover. He's just choking the man out. And A.J. Frost is asking these people here in Lenoir, North Carolina, who's the man? Now I'm guessing he's hoping they answer A.J. Frost, but he's got that nerve hold on. He's clamped on a nerve hold. He's pinching that nerve right there, and he's got the arm of George South trapped. George is going to have to get out of this some way, somehow. And that doesn't look very effective, ladies and gentlemen, but that nerve hold is very, very painful. George is trying to get the people behind him here. Frost needs to quit worrying about the fans and focus on what's in front of him. This is the first time he's had any type of offensive momentum going for himself here. And he's got him, but George South working his way up here to his feet. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned for our main event. We got the Rock and Roll Express in action with Baby Doll, as George South just takes A.J. Frost over with that arm drag off the ropes. Oh, big drop kick. Taking George South right off of his feet. And here we go. Only gets a 2 count. George South able to kick out after that drop kick. And A.J. Frost right back to that nerve hold, clamping it on. And he's clamped on like that Cobra clamped onto the arm of Macho Man Randy Savage back on WWF Superstars back in the day. He's clamped on to with that nerve hold, and George South is feeling the effects. He's got the pain on his face. He's clutching his head in pain. He's trying to work his way up. He's trying to get out of this hole. A.J. Frost doing everything he can to put pressure on that nerve to keep him down and hurt him. George trying to get these people going. He's working his way up to his knees. George South, A.J. Frost, what a match here to start off the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the action you get each and every Saturday at noon right here on NAWA Championship Wrestling. Oh, catches him in a sleeper hold. Does A.J. Frost. He's going to put Mr. Number 1 to sleep and walk out of here the victor. If you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, Like I said, oh, George out of the sleeper. Big back body drop. If you're enjoying what you see, join us each and every Saturday at noon right here on our YouTube channel. Go back in the archives and check out what's been going on. If you haven't been up to date, we are the longest running episodic television show in the Carolinas with episode number 230 today. That's 230 weeks in a row as George South just missed that knee drop. And now A.J. Frost going to work on it. He sees the bullseye. He's going right, but he sees the target. He's trying to put the bullseye on it, so to speak. Right back to the nerve hole goes A.J. Frost. A.J. must know something that we don't know from being in the ring with George. He's going right back to that. Oh, he's just biting him right there. Biting him on the face, the nose area. George, he didn't like that. Working that nerve hold over big time. A.J. Frost is saying this is over. There's no way he's going to get out of this. He's doing everything he can to keep him down. He's wrenching it on. He's clamped it on as tight as he can. But George back up to one knee. And now back up to both feet on his vertical base here. And he's got a big shot to the midsection. Oh, and A.J. Frost grabs a handful of hair and throws George South down onto the mat. Now he's choking him once again. Our officials got to get some order here. Counting him to the count of 5. Telling him to get out of the way. A.J. Frost says this is it. He's climbing up to the top rope, the high rent district. He looks to be hit that moonsault he always goes for. Moonsault, nobody home. No pool in the water. George South had it scouted out. And he is back to his feet as A.J. Frost is writhing in pain on the mat. Blocks the punch, winding it up, stomps his foot. He wasn't expecting that. Here we go. Oh, big chop there. Ricky Steamboat style there from George. Oh, and right back to the eyes. There's no good offensive or defense for a rake to the eyes. Says A.J. Frost knows that. Nobody home. Schoolboys him up. 1, 2, 3. George South sneaks out to win here. He picks up the victory against A.J. Frost with that schoolboy out of the corner. Surprising A.J. Frost that he came up short against his biggest opponent today. And A.J. Frost did, and George South, Mr. Number 1, proving why. He's still got it. He's still the man around these parts as he picks up the win. Ladies and gentlemen, stick with us through this quick commercial break. We'll be back with that huge main event with the Rock and Roll Express and Baby Doll.
Now, there's an easier way to do this. If you want out of jail, call Blackman for bail. As a former WWF wrestler, I guarantee we can slam the competition. I have offices in Dauphin, Cumberland, York, and Perry counties. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call 919-2015. That's 919-2015. Don't let this be you. Don't spend more time in there than you have to. That's Blackman Bail Bonds.
Gentlemen, it is main event time here on the program. As you can see in the ring right now, we got the Palace of Pain, Myric Moore and Mike Maughan. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us through that quick commercial break. And there they are, the WWE Hall of Famers, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, and accompanying them to the ring is the Perfect 10 Baby Doll. And they're on their way down here to deliver a main event match. See if they can take out the members of the Palace of Pain. We're going to see if they can do it. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, I almost forgot, but don't forget the Golden Gladiator number 2. He still has a huge announcement to deliver on the program. I guess we're going to get it at the end of this match, or maybe he forgot to come give it. I don't really know. We're going to hopefully get that huge announcement that we teased off the top of the show as we've got these legends here tonight. This is a whole episode full of legends and legendary wrestlers here on the program. We got Hall of Famers, Mid-Atlantic legends, perfect 10s. It's just full of legendary action here this week. Look at Robert Gibson and Baby Doll. They're still going on their Rock and Roll Express retirement tour. Not sure if the tour is ever going to stop or when it's going to stop, but I know they're on their retirement tour, and Ricky and Robert are going around making the rounds one last time. This could very well be the last time we see them here in NAWA Championship Wrestling. This could be the last time you see them right here on the program, and they're going to have their hands full as they're taking on these two young, hungry, vicious men in Mike Maughan and Myric Moore, the Irish hand grenade. And the wrestler's wrestler, Mike Maughan, he's a throwback to the days of Edward Compantier and Lou Thez and Gene Kudniski, so to speak. And there's Myric Moore. He's just reminiscent of a big bad bruiser like a Dick Slater. Black Jack Mulligan just beat you up all over the squared circle. So, but they got their hands full just as much as the Rock and Roll Express has their hands full, as they've got to fight the longest tenured tag team of all time. I don't think there's been a tag team that has been around as long and together as the Rock and Roll Express. As you hear the roars of this crowd for these legends, as we're about to get underway here in action for tag team main event action here, as our head official, referee John Harkey, he's been given this matchup. He's been given the orders to try to keep things in line here, and who better to do it than our head official John Harkey, as the Rock and Roll Express is just taking in the adulation of this crowd. And you hear the roars here as they're still as popular as ever. I don't think they'll ever be as popular as they were in 1985-86 here in the Crockett area, but the people, they still remember them here. 30 years later, 35 years later, the fans still chant rock and roll for Ricky and Robert. And you see Baby Doll, the perfect 10, on the floor leading the chants, as she's going to be here watching their back. I'm really surprised we don't see Golden Gladiator number 2 or another member of the Palace of Pain out here to watch their back. It's definitely, look at Ricky Moore. He's trying to pull out the Karate Kid here, the crane, and in this match real quick. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for your main event tag team action. We're waiting on that bell to get rung. And there we go, there's the bell. Call for our official. Now it's time to see the Hall of Famers in action. Can they defeat this young team, the Palace of Pain? As you hear the echo again, once again, the chants of Rock and Roll Express echoing here in this gymnasium. Baby Doll not too impressed with Myric Moore as Robert Gibson takes him right to the corner after that collar and elbow tie-up. Showing him he's still got it. You know, Robert may not be as agile and quick as he used to be, but he's still got it in him. Now Myric Moore pulling the hair. Oh, what a cheap shot. Robert Gibson throwing one, firing one right back to him. And Mike Maughan taking a hip toss. Oh, good God, they're just ping-ponging Mike Maughan around the ring like a ping pong ball. In comes Ricky, double team move, big shot to the gut. And here it comes, that running knee lift, taking Myric Moore right off of his feet. And the Rock and Roll Express still showing that tag team experience. And you can hear again, rock and roll. It's just non-stop chants of rock and roll here. Oh, look at this Baby Doll. What is she doing? She tripped up Myric Moore after he insulted her just a moment ago. She's inserted herself into this match, and Mike Maughan don't like it. He's had enough. He's going around there to tell her she needs to get back in the kitchen barefoot, bakes him a sandwich or something. That's what he's probably telling her. Oh, he just gets slapped for it. Mike Maughan just gets slapped by the perfect 10 Baby Doll for running his mouth. Maybe he shouldn't have told her to go make him a sandwich and stay in the kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what he said to her, but whatever it was, she didn't like it. And she just gave him a knuckle sandwich right across the face. Hey, technically, I guess she did make him a sandwich. It was just a knuckle sandwich. And Mike Maughan not happy. As Ricky Morton trying to get these people back into it as they're making fun of Mike Maughan and Myric Moore for getting slapped around by Baby Doll and the Rock and Roll Express. And here we go, Mike Maughan finally into the squared circle in the center of the ring. He's ready to lock horns with WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton right now here in the ring. Here we go, we're gonna get a collar and elbow top, here we go, and taking him into the corner. Obviously Mike Maughan with a shot to the side of the head. He just pissed Ricky Morton off, I think, with that little cheap shot right there. He took him right into the corner. Ricky Morton's ready to get one right back here, and he does. Oh, the official blocks it. What is John Harkey doing? He's blocking the punch. Oh, but Ricky using his left hand, outsmarting John Harkey, and then giving Myric Moore a right hand to the jaw, taking him off the apron. Ricky Morton now got him into a side headlock here, trying to tame the American Muscle. Oh, Myric Moore, a little bit of payback for what Baby Doll did earlier as he took the feet of Ricky Morton right out from underneath him. And now Mike Maughan tagging back in Myric Moore as they've got Ricky Morton down on the mat. And they're working over that arm. Oh, big double axe handle right into the back of the neck. You know, Ricky Morton's taken many beatings over the years, but can he withstand the beating that the Irish hand grenade is going to give him right now? And the people just chanting rock and roll, trying to get Ricky Morton. Oh, just takes him by a handful of hair right down to the mat. He's letting the people know that he got his hair pulled. Back in comes Mike Maughan. And now the double team move, well, right back to that arm. And Robert Gibson and Baby Doll are just having a conniption fit over there while the Palace of Pain gets away with whatever they want. Just going right to work on that left arm of Ricky Morton here. Is Mike Maughan, big Irish whip. Oh, with nobody home, shoulder first. Holy Christ, Ricky Morton out of the way, rolls through. Big tag into Robert Gibson, big right hands for both members of the Palace of Pain. And again, Robert Gibson's got him. Big double whammy, knocker there. The Palace of Pain is in trouble. Robert Gibson is on a roll. Myric Moore off the ropes. Oh, he caught him in a sleeper. He's got to put Myric Moore to sleep. Oh, wait a minute. Mike Maughan there to break it up right very quickly. And now they're going to work on Morton. They're going to shoot him off. Double team move. Oh, big sunset flip on the Myric Moore. Mike Maughan trying to save him. Oh, Robert Gibson breaks it up. 1, 2, 3. And Myric Moore, he was close to those ropes, but not underneath them. He could have reached out, maybe grabbed him, but Ricky had him pinned down just enough as the Perfect 10 Baby Doll leads the Rock and Roll Express to a huge tag team win. Myric Moore arguing that he had the ropes. They may protest this win, but right now, John Harkey, the far head official, says, there's your winners, the Rock and Roll Express, picking up the win here. And ladies and gentlemen, what a way to end the show. But like I said, we got Golden Gladiator number 2. He's standing by with a huge announcement. That's all the time we got after his announcement. This has been Michael Elliott. So long for now.
Hey wrestling fans, GT here. I'm with Golden Gladiator number 2. GG2, you look like you put on a little weight, and apparently the 2 has a different meaning. Talk to me.
That's right, Doofus. I am Goldie Two Belts. Now, you see, I beat Jeff Hart fair and square, and then my mentor, Awesome Austin Steele, he won this belt fair and square a few weeks ago, and he said, GG, I want you to have the belt. And you say, well, he would just give it to you? I said, yes, he did, and yes, he won it fair and square. You see, a few weeks ago, there was the Rage in the Cage. It was a 3-way dance. I was a special referee. Mike Power Maughan and Awesome Austin Steele coming out of retirement, both of them wrestling. Backwoods Johnny Ryder for the title. I caught it right down the middle. I mean, it was back and forth. It was bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. what happened? I mean, toward the end of the match, man, it's crazy to even say. Austin Steele got him in the figure 4 lead lock. And I think he passed out because then he covered him. 1, 2, 3, clean in the middle. Your new champion. Awesome, Austin Steele. It was amazing. Folks, go back in the archive and watch it. But now, he gave me the belt. Goldie 2 belts. Hey, I'm coming to your town.